was a little disappointed when I heard you guys kind of talking about us taking a picture with other teams. Okay, for me, there's really not a reason why you can't take a picture with another team. All right, because that team was just out kind of helping us play. Now, even if they said something, if one girl said something, does one girl saying something mean that all 25 of those girls aren't like that one girl? Or if their coach made a joke or whatever, you guys got to understand, to build the game of soccer. I started a nonprofit called Warrior Way Gives. Okay, and we give back. And part of what we do is we go to Guatemala and we just play soccer with people that we don't speak the same language, we don't look the same. We come from totally different places, and when we roll out a soccer ball, there's camaraderie and joy and community. And our job, they don't have a female soccer league like you guys do. I mean, they have one, but it's so young and they're growing. So one thing I told them is, to grow women's soccer, you have to be supporters of other women, of other girls. You don't look at everybody always as an enemy. Don't be always looking for the enemy. Be somebody that can, I was out there today kind of joking around with the girls, because not joking around, but kind of be like, come on, like, great pass, because that, and I don't want you guys to do that out on the field, but you have to understand a picture is not a big deal. You guys understand that? Remember, I'm here to not just tell you all the things that make you so great in this world. Okay? So that from a couple of you, and I specifically saw who I thought that was. I think that needs to be better, and you know who you are. Okay, that needs to be better. All right. Two, one of the biggest things I'm going to tell Lana when I walk away from here is that you guys do not talk at all, because it's not. Okay, you know that. We've worked on it. I've seen it in these little spurts. So my recommendation with her is I'm going to give her some different ways that you guys are just going to be trained in every little aspect of what you do in training, is learning to use your voice. Because what just happened when Jen and I just opened our mouth, it wasn't that we really had to do much back there. It just changed our energy of our team, right? It just changed the energy of our team. And even just the passion of us goofing around a little bit, but bringing joy to our team, it was fun. I had a great time playing with you guys, and now I'm a Renegade. Are you guys going to be in New Jersey? Yeah. Everyone's looking at me.
It might take like a year and a half to get.
Yeah, we still have shorts.
So that's one thing that I'm going to be really kind of talking to Lana through, and some of the things that I'm going to write as we make small goals. It's going to be a big piece, because you can play the 6 and the 8 and the 1, and you can knock it around, and you can make overlapping runs. But if you don't talk and you don't have any kind of team spirit, your team's going to be average, period. Okay, you guys understand that? Okay, so you want all these little pieces, but you've got to bring team spirit. And I know it's in you guys. I've seen some of you really do that through these last couple of days of training, or the last day of training. I've seen it. It's in you. Okay, you got it? All right, those are the 2 things from me. I'm going to let MK kind of take it over. I asked MK to come share with you guys. She's just an amazing person. She coaches my Warrior Way program. So you're going to probably hear her talk about her faith a little bit, because it's really important to her. But you'll also hear her talk about her sport. And yeah, she motivates. She's way younger than me, but she's one of my closest friends. And she motivates me every day to just do the best I can. She's everything that she does. She's like, that was amazing. That was so much fun. She showed you guys on campus, and she's like, oh, that was so fun. Like, I was like, oh, really? But yeah, she thought it was. So give her a little round of applause.
Hi, girls. Great to see y'all again. Thank you so much for having me. So, like Marcy said, I went to University of North Carolina, and I just want to share a little bit about my journey, how I got there, and the struggles I went through. And those struggles have really made me into the woman I am today. So, back it up to 6th grade. Who knows about the Tar Heels? Who knows about the University? Anyone? Yes. What do y'all know about UNC? What makes it so special? Yes, Michael Jordan.
Oh, the girls soccer team.
Yes. Yes. So their sports are high level. And field hockey, they've been ranked #1 for at least 20 years in field hockey. So in 6th grade, I wrote a paper on how my dream was to play field hockey at University of North Carolina. So fast forward, I became really serious about field hockey in 8th grade. I played soccer for a long time, but I had to choose because, as you know, playing club, it's an expensive one and you travel a lot, so you really have to just pick one sport to dive deep into. So I chose field hockey because that was the sport I was better at. And so got serious with it. I started going to recruiting camps, and we have one in Florida that I went to every year, but never once thought to email UNC, the coaches there, because I was like, there's no way I'm good enough to play at UNC. And so I never did, never reached out. And so I went to James Madison University for a camp, and that's where I actually almost committed. And I met a goalie coach there, so I was a goalie, and so I met the goalie coach who really had an influence in my play. And so I was talking to her, and she wanted me at James Madison, and then she ended up moving to University of North Carolina. So I got a call going into my junior year of how University of North Carolina is looking for a backup goalkeeper. And I literally on the phone, I was like, UNC Chapel Hill? I was like, what? Just because UNC is always so good, never thought I was good enough to go there. And so that phone call really changed the trajectory of my life. And I said, Lord, if this is where you want me, I will go, and I will step confidently into that. And so I committed junior year and went to University of North Carolina. And before I even got there, the goalie coach who recruited me left. She ended up leaving. And so I went because of this coach and because of UNC, but now this goalie coach had left. So I started, as you know, sports are hard. You have people that are better than you, and coming from a high school where I was a superstar, it really got humbled really quickly of, no, you're not the superstar. So like I said, I was recruited to be a goalie. And so my sophomore year, I get a call from my coach saying we had a transfer goalie coming in. She was on the national team. And she essentially said that she wasn't going to keep both of us. And so that was really hard for me because I thought I was coming to University of North Carolina to play field hockey, and now it's about to be stripped away. She said, we're having a tryout, and we're only keeping one of you. And so there was a lot of different options that I was going through my head. I could transfer, I could quit, or I could just persevere and work hard for this tryout. And so I really just felt the Lord saying, persevere, work hard, and just trust me throughout all of this. And so that summer is really when the Lord began to change my heart. I was so wrapped up in who I was as an athlete that I didn't know who I was in Christ. I didn't know who I was as a human being. I was so wrapped up in my identity as an athlete. My athlete identity was about to be stripped away, so that was really what caused me to go deep in my faith. And so I went to that trial and gave it all I got. And my coach called me into her office and she said, MK, we're keeping both of you, which is so crazy. My coach was scary, and when she says something, she keeps her word. And so that was just all God, the fact that he was going to keep both of us, just all part of his plan, his perfect plan. And so my desires began to change after that summer, after I really dove deep in my faith with God. My passions began to change. I got involved with the campus ministry, like it's called Athletes in Action. It's similar to FCA. It's under Crew Ministries. I started getting discipled and mentorship, so I had an older woman pour into me. I had her start read the Bible with me, and that's really where my faith took off. And fast forward sophomore year, my coach pretty much just said I was going to be a practice player. She said, your position on this team is going to look different. And so I said, okay, coach, whatever you need from me, I will do. And so that was really hard. I rode the bench, never really saw significant time until my senior year. But what I want to encourage y'all is, no matter if you're on the bench or on the field or a manager or a practice player, God can use you. He has a purpose for each one of you, and your purpose is unfolding already. And you don't have to be playing, you don't have to be a superstar to allow God to use you. And I have a really cool story of just how God was working in the midst of me sitting the bench. And I questioned so many times, like, God, why am I on this team if I am not contributing anything to my games and the games? And so I just felt really called to start a prayer circle before every game. And so, yeah, so I was just like, hey girls, whoever just wants to pray for our games, come and we'll pray together. And so I started that, and there's only a few girls at first, and each game, a few more girls got interested and started praying. So yeah, it just was so special. We all started praying before games, and none of my team really knew who Jesus was. And so my senior year, when we won the national championship, my coach, we had a banquet, a huge banquet for all the athletic staff, all of our families and friends to come to. It was a big deal. And my coach said, MK, I've been seeing the way you've been leading our prayers. Would you please pray at this banquet? And so that just goes to show that God is using you. People are watching you, how you play, how you sit the bench, how you talk with your family and friends. People see the way you handle adversity. People see the way you handle your struggles, your injuries, and God honors that. He honors the way you talk to your teammates, you talk to your opponents. And so I just really encourage you learn how to serve, whether that's picking up water for your teammates or picking up someone when they're down or having a bad day or just writing a note to encourage your teammates. Really just plug in and think about ways you can serve your team, serve your community, serve your coach, serve your family. And if you're riding the bench, what better opportunity than to serve, to find cool ways to serve. So yes, senior year, so we went to the national championship 3 times when my college experience, and we had lost every time. So our senior year, we were like, okay, this is the year. So we went 23-0 my senior year, which was just a cherry on the top of the whole experience. And it was a lot of up and down, but my senior year was the year where I said, Lord, this sport is yours, and I just want to be used. And that's the year I played the most games, and I was just a practice player, and so just never let the impossible stop you from achieving your dreams, because I thought I wasn't going to see minutes, but when you work hard and just release your life to the Lord, He'll use you in ways you can't imagine. So I just want to encourage y'all with that. And yeah, just find ways to serve and dive deep with your teammates, and that's something I never really had at UNC, is getting to know my teammates at a deep level. I knew who they were, but I didn't know about their families. I didn't know where they came from, and something I'm really passionate about is just getting to hear people's stories. We all come from somewhere. We all have something that makes us unique. I'm MK, and there's so much power behind our names, and so getting to know who you are at a deeper level is so important. This is so awesome that you guys have this space to dive deep. Just get to bond as a team. So yeah, thanks for letting me share. And if you have any questions, I would love to chat and answer anything.
Awesome. I'm motivated. Ask him,
What's field hockey? Yeah, explain that. Field hockey is similar to soccer, but with sticks. You can only use one side of the stick. There's 11v11, so the goal is to score, just like soccer. But you're playing in tennis shoes. It's on AstroTurf to make the ball move faster. So you water the fields every 30 minutes, so the ball goes fast.
where's the goalie use?
So it's 30 pounds of pads. So from head to toe, helmet, leg pads, arm pads, stick, and then glove.
Sounds like a hockey.
What's the ball like?
It's like a tennis ball.
It's not hard, it's like lacrosse, not harder than lacrosse.
It's similar to lacrosse.
Harder than lacrosse ball.
Yeah. Yeah. I got a concussion through my helmet.
Goodness.
Did you just forget about field hockey? No, I didn't forget about it at all. But they don't have it in Texas, so yeah, I miss it. So lacrosse is in the air, field hockey is on.
Everybody spends a lot of time on one of the things she does is she is like spends a ton of time with the Baylor athletes and just kind of discipling them, mentoring them, coffees with them, just a lot of organic stuff as well. Like she's just always there when somebody needs somebody to talk to. She's tremendous at that.
How did you find your path from being an athlete, like nothing, from being a college athlete to graduating. And you kind of talk about your identity and like how you go. How did you find your path beyond that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I don't know if anyone's ever read the Bible. Is anyone familiar with Moses? The story in Exodus. Who's Moses? So Moses led the Israelites out of Egypt. So they were in slavery for 430 years. That is so long. There's this passage when God calls Moses to lead them out of Egypt. And Moses is just like, Lord, you call me to this and nothing is happening. The king is still persecuting us. Where are you? What are you doing? And so there's a lot of why questions in that. And so in my time at UNC, I was asking a lot of those why questions. And what I love about that passage in Exodus is the Lord shows up for Moses in his doubts and in his questions. And he says, I am. And that's what God did for me in those questions and in those doubts. He showed me that he is enough. And my identity is not in field hockey. It's not in school. It's not in what I do. It's in who I am. And that's in Jesus Christ. And so I fell in love with Jesus in college, and I didn't know what I wanted to do, but it's crazy how I got here. I actually met, I don't know if you know Elizabeth Perkins. She was my leader at a faith and sports camp, and she had told me about Truett Seminary and their sports ministry program. And so basically it's learning about Jesus and learning about sport and the integration of the two. Exactly what Marcy's teaching you. It's teaching you how to apply that to your daily life. And so I was like, oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. And so, yeah, I prayed and prayed about it, and that's how I got here.
Do you think you're straight from
Yes,
UNC?
yeah. So August of 2019, I started in May. So I always say I love sports, but I'm more passionate about the person. I'm in sports ministry because of the person now.
Questions?
That there's a lot of people think them cases.
Mary Catherine.
Questions?
Yes. I would love to hear from y'all. What are some struggles y'all have faced, and how have you overcome them? It could be soccer related, it could be outside of soccer. What helps you get through adversity and struggle? Go for it.
Great. Lean in, girl.
Yep.
This is how quiet they are.
I had to decide if I wanted to stay on the soccer team or switch.
What helped you kind of navigate those questions? My parents.
Great. My parents.
Did your parents tell you what team go toward a day, or did you make the choice? You did. How did you get there?
My parents.
Did you have a feeling? It's in your heart. Yeah. You just gotta listen.
You picked the right thing. My parents.
Good job.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah, they both make great choices.
Yes.
Didn't she? They both?
Yeah.
Oh, hi, lady.
Hi.
Oh. She's been here like half of the time.
She has?
Since they started answering questions. That was like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
That's a while.
This is about 15 to 45 minutes.
Also, I just really want to encourage y'all. It's okay to have questions. It's okay to have doubts. Those are good. Those press us into the heart of God Himself. And I question God. I question who was. I question if it's good. I question what is my purpose? What am I even doing on this team? I want you to know those questions are good and help you. Don't feel like you're less than for doubting God or for questioning Him. Because as I just shared that passage in Exodus, it shows that God revealed Himself to Moses in his doubts, in those questions. And so, if you don't know who God is, that's okay. If you're questioning who God is, you did.
Lots.
Do you feel like God was present when you were praying? All of you?
You want to talk about your question? If God has a purpose in everything that happens, why would this?
I don't know.
Good question. But good could come on us, right?
I don't know.
One thing better that we talked about this morning is that, like, sport isn't just triumph, right? Triumph means highs. What did I also say sport is? We talked about 2 words. I said, it's not just triumph, but it's also what? You're gonna face a lot of what? Trials, right? You're not gonna face all good in sport. You're gonna face
Something about like what would be the
yeah, remember the story of getting injured and different things like that, you're gonna face some lows, right?
anything else?
My dad asked.
Yeah, that's a question.
Oh, my dad. He asked if it wants to be a student in college.
Yes, definitely. It's hard time management. We have some Baylor girls who are rushing in a sorority, and I don't know how they do it because I was already overwhelmed so much with field hockey and school. And so time management was the hardest thing for me, trying to manage both, and on top of building relationships with people and building my faith. But yeah, it also taught me a lot about discipline and being on time for things. My coach would always say, if you're on time, you're late. So she taught us to always be early, which has been so helpful in my life. Yeah, well, I almost failed out of school my first semester of college. So that shows you it's a hard balance, definitely.
Just turn it around.
Yep, I did. I started off my first year with 1.4, and I ended with a 3.5.
Wow. Okay, move on.
That shows God can do it. God can do it.
What's a sorority?
A sorority, it's pretty much just a bunch of girls doing life together. And they live in a big house, do lots of fun things together. But it's a big time commitment.
And you have to kind of try out for it, sort of.
Ernie, you guys are more used
They do philanthropic things too, so they cheer as well. And they're also Christian based.
Yeah.
It's hard to focus on, right? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And we have access to tutors, which is really helpful in college, devoting that time to learn from people who are experts. Yeah, be serious about school now because when recruiting comes, you don't think that grades matter, but they really do. Like I couldn't go to an Ivy League because my grades weren't good enough. So I would just encourage y'all really stay serious about school and try to treat it seriously because I didn't at all in high school and middle school.
And limited your options.
Yes. Anything else? Yeah, graduate. May. Yes, the dream is to stay at Baylor and work for Baylor ministry. I'm actually applying to a full-time job there. So it makes me really sad to even think about leaving Waco and jobs interviewing. See you. Yes.
Mark's gonna pay the.
Well, thank y'all so much for letting me share.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, okay?
Yeah.
I yeah.
Lainey, go get some chicken nuggets.
I didn't want
Yeah. I actually love today.
How about this? You guys go and practice your karaoke for 10 minutes.
Okay.
So we're gonna make because you guys have, you're learning what we call hot chocolate dates. My sons like to call them hot chocolate cakes. So I'll tell you guys what they are when you make hot chocolate, okay? You got a break. Whoa.
Yeah, it is. It's like a 30-second delay.
Hi, Dad. Okay, bye, Dad. He's back right there.
I got some. Alright, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Everybody. No, they don't.
Are you still videoing? My dad was supposed to see that. Can I look at it? What was he?
It's just, you can see. What you see over there.
Okay.
You guys,
Good night, everybody.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow.
Okay.
How many girls? Now I want them. 3, 6, you got it?
we got so many hot chocolates. You need a hot chocolate.
Are you gonna do
I would not Oh, I don't know. Landon, do you have hot chocolate?
I have a son. Oh, that's right.
Anybody else? Where you see there's
Oh, yes.
Which it is.
And I was actually doing by the businesses and personal training career.
Started to be what I believe on the other side of my career. Passionate about it. And my husband was meeting with a guy today that was talking about tanks and buildings. This is really wealthy guy that's building a park downtown. So he's over in downtown, not in downtown, but you know where you guys were before, you're going to the other side of the inner field center. Yeah, he's building this big climbing wall, lighthouse, and zip line across the river, and hotel. So that should be great. Yeah. I guess it's called Grand Hotel.
I grew up here, so.
Yeah, you're seeing it change.
I think sports is so good. I've been trained on mental. Look at so many athletes face that. How we respond to that. Do you think it's embarrassing? Like,
No, I don't think it is. You went, you back?
Yeah, I agree with you about